Well, welcome. Hey, farmer friends. It's Corinna on a Saturday afternoon. Hope you guys are doing great. And I am going to be talking to you about my favorite topic when it comes to marketing, and that is Facebook groups. I am a huge fan of Facebook groups. Our CSA farm has been using one for many years. And only in the last 2 years have we really had an intentional plan for leveraging the Facebook group. And as soon as we started doing that, we saw incredible results in our customers, in our retention rate. And I can't wait to talk to you guys about that. So whether you're joining me live or you watch this in the replay, this is going to be a great training for you if you're thinking about trying to start a Facebook group for your CSA community, or if you already have one and you're looking for ways to kind of blow some new life into it. So the topic of today's masterclass is the 3 rules to building an engaged Facebook group for your farm. And it's really designed for CSA farmers. So if you're a market gardener and you're watching this, you can listen in and you can certainly take this stuff in for a Facebook group that you might manage too, but CSA farmers have a very unique challenge in the sense that they have a community of people that they're trying to bring together. They're trying to make them feel like this is our story, our farm, we are a community, we're one united tribe. And so I really feel like Facebook groups provide a great way to kind of solve that unique challenge that CSA farmers face. And so I'm going to walk you through these 3 rules to building an engaged Facebook group. These are things that I have learned over the course of my time managing one, and I can't wait to dive in with you. Before I do, I just want to get a sense for those of you who are watching live or when you watch the playback later, please type in the comments whether or not you have a Facebook group or not. So just real quick say, yes, I have a Facebook group. No, I don't have a Facebook group. I'm just kind of curious to see how many of you have one and just where you're at, so I know who kind of my audience is as we talk through this. So, all right, so today is all about how Facebook groups can help do so many things for your CSA. So I want you to just walk through some of these scenarios. Maybe this is true for you. Maybe you've been doing a CSA for a while and things have been getting a little stale. I know that was the case for us after like year 5. We felt like we were doing the same things over and over again. A CSA Facebook group can breathe new life into your product and into your offer. Or maybe you wish that you had a way to connect your members together. So you're okay with connecting with them, farmer to customer, but you want that community piece to happen. You really want to leverage that. Facebook groups are so good at helping everyone in your community feel like a tribe. And there are some really specific things you can do to make that happen. I know that some farmers have a hard time just connecting with their customers one-on-one. Maybe you have such a big CSA or you have a kind of operation where you're not able to go to the pickup sites for everyone. And so you're missing out on that connection piece. You don't really know them very well, and you kind of intuitively know that you should probably be developing relationships, but you just don't have the bandwidth to do it. Facebook groups are a great way to get around that barrier and scale. And maybe you have a Facebook group right now and you've been trying stuff, but it's just not taking off and you're not really sure why. Today's training is going to help you with that too. And finally, kind of the grand holy grail of them all for CSA farmers is the quest for customer retention, right? High customer retention rates. And I have to tell you that I really feel like if you do a Facebook group well, you can really tackle that problem because it creates such a value add for your community, and it makes it so much more than just the vegetables that they want to come back to your farm. And it really has helped our retention rate immensely. I'll go into the details about that in just a second. So today in this training, I'm going to show you how you can use a Facebook group to engage your CSA customers and build some brand loyalty and ultimately drive up your retention rates. So I have a special offer at the end of this training today to invite you to be a part of my Facebook group mastery course. But I also have a bonus kind of gift in that offer that I'm going to share with you at the very, very end. So if you make it till the end, that's going to be an offer that you'll know about and you'll have a very short amount of time to act on it if you want to. So If you don't know who I am, my name's Corinna, and I am a farmer, the CSA manager at Shared Legacy Farms just outside Toledo. I'm also the kind of starter of this group and the founder of mydigitalfarmer.com, and I'm really passionate about trying to help other farmers get the same kind of success that I had when I began to really embrace digital marketing. And so I'm just trying to teach that to farmers as much as I can. Now, I feel like of all the things that I could teach you in my portfolio, I feel like Facebook groups is the thing that I do best and that I know the most about. And so I'm really passionate about it. We're good at it. And I really feel like I have figured out the code, the roadmap, the framework that works. How did we start our group? We actually have a private Facebook group. And we started it in 2014. One of my members, who was my recipe consultant, who wrote the recipes for our newsletter, she actually came up to me one day and said, "Hey, can I start a Facebook group?" And I didn't really know much about groups. It was a sort of new thing. And I said, "Go with it, run with it, Christine." And she did. And I really didn't interact a lot with it the first year and a half. I kind of was curious sometimes. I would kind of go stare at it and see what was going on in there, but I really didn't interact a ton. Until 2016. And in 2016, I got very serious about trying to solve this customer retention problem. We were hovering like at 60 to 62%. And when you have a 400 member CSA, that's a lot of people to replace every year. And it was causing anxiety in me. We wouldn't fill those spots until like end of May, a few weeks before, we would begin. And so I would have like 4 months of stress. And I decided I was going to begin to interview my CSA, I called them my CSA masters, the members who were really good at CSA, who loved it, who seemed to never have trouble using the box. And when I interviewed them, I got on the phone, I called about 30 people and had like 45-minute conversations with them. And I began to see patterns in what they were saying, what they were doing differently, how they were succeeding with the box. What were some of the roadblocks that they hit and how did they overcome them? And I took like vigorous notes. And when I saw the patterns beginning to emerge, I thought to myself, I could teach this. Like I could share this knowledge with people in our whole tribe and help people who are coming into our CSA overcome this and like give them a shortcut, teach them these hacks and tricks so that they don't drop out after the first year. So I decided that I could use my Facebook group to start doing that. And that's became my new strategy to make the Facebook group the platform where I would sort of teach this roadmap to CSA success. And that is how everything was born. Now in 2016, Christine, my recipe consultant, left the CSA. And so I replaced her with someone else from my CSA who was a dietitian. Her name was Katie, and she has been my community manager on payroll, on staff ever since. And when we got together to look at this data and this research and we planned out our content, what are we going to teach? And we figured out a game plan and a strategy to use this Facebook group. We launched it in June of that year and the Facebook group blew up. Like it blew up. Engagement went through the roof. People were sharing pictures of their recipes, of their food. They were asking questions. They were consuming our video content. They were saying, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know you could eat kohlrabi with peanut butter. I'm so excited to try this." And we saw these really quick spikes, like quick wins, right? And we saw them growing. We saw our customers getting excited about learning new ways to use our food. And I felt like we were dropping value bombs. Like every day there were 3 of them going off. And it wasn't always us, it was our community sharing ideas too. They were following our pattern. So that fall, when it was time to do customer or early bird retention and get people to sign up for the next year, our retention rate jumped from 63% to 78%. I was 78% sold out on October 31st, 2 weeks after my CSA was done. I was stunned. And I went into Christmas for the first time in my career as a CSA farmer without any anxiety because I only had to find like 50 people and I was like, I can do that. And I didn't have that burden. So I knew that I was onto something because the only thing that changed that year was the addition of this Facebook group strategy. And so I consider that to be the major reason behind my customer retention and behind kind of the jump start that it gave to my brand and to my just customer satisfaction level. So I want to just share with you something that one of my members actually said and typed into our Facebook group. Brian Hammer is a member of my CSA, and he shared this in my private group for my members, for my customers. This is what he said about our group. He said, "I think the Facebook group has become one of the best perks of membership. I love seeing the pictures of everybody's food. I love the community of like-minded foodies. And get this, sure, the veggies are great, but this group is a major value add." Do you hear that last sentence? It's almost like the community was getting close to trumping the vegetables themselves. And there are so many other people that have said similar things like that in my group. So that's the feedback I was getting from my members. So I just want you to imagine like what Facebook groups might be able to do for you. Like I want you to imagine what if you had a way to more easily see the feedback and measure the growth that your members are going through, the way that they're changing. Like we are changing the way people eat, and I can see it in a very fast and real way. I used to try to just teach people how to store food, and now 2 years later, they're not interested in that. They want to know how to ferment and how to can. If I had tried to teach them that 2 years ago, they would have been like, "Who are you?" I mean, the growth for them as foodies has been incredible. I mean, they want to learn how to ferment now. It's just insane to me. And if you can imagine having a customer like Brian Hammer that I just quoted, who sees the community piece of your CSA offer as something that's so good, he's ready to pay extra money for that. And that's what we were able to do after a couple of years. We actually raised the price of our CSA, and I felt really comfortable doing it because I knew that the value that my CSA's Facebook group added was worth that. I want you to imagine being able to sell more of your stuff fast because you have a captive audience. There was a time that I posted, we had extra spinach in the high tunnel, and I'm like, "Hey, I need to get rid of this." I sold almost $400 in 30 minutes of spinach. In the comments alone, they didn't even go to the store. They were just like, "I want 4 bags, I want 3 bags, I want 2 bags." And this is what happens when you have a community of people that are in there all the time, that are already buying and they want to buy more. And so it's easy to put offers in front of this captive audience. And then I just want you to imagine, what if you could raise your retention rate? Like even 3%, 3 percentage points, 5 percentage points. In our case, it was over 10 percentage points. Just imagine what that would do for your anxiety level. It's just incredible. Anyway, you can tell that I'm a huge believer in them. So I'm about to tell you a lot of stuff about Facebook groups, but I want you to remember this one thing. I'm going to keep coming back to it again and again, and it's this. CSA members might initially sign up for your veggies or whatever your product is. Maybe you're a meat CSA, but they stay for the community and they stay for the relationships. I want you to just think about that. Your CSA members might initially sign up for the veggies, but they stay for the community. So my group has 367 members in it right now. I have technically 415 half shares that we sell, and we have more customers than that because many of them like share a box with someone else. So we probably have around 500 people in our CSA. And I want to just share with you kind of an industry stat that you should know about Facebook groups. It's kind of normal for 50% of your members, more or less, to join the group. Okay, so you're not going to get 100% of your members even saying, "Yeah, I'm going to go and join your group." About 50% will do that. And of those 50%, this is the industry average, okay, 20%, only 20% will actually engage and participate in the group. The rest of them will be what they call lurkers, who kind of just watch and listen, but don't actively engage or post or comment or like or whatever. I want you to just know that statistic, because if you're thinking about starting a Facebook group, or if you have started one and it's not really going very well, one of the issues may be social density, that you don't have enough people in the group to make the people in there feel like it's worth it to contribute. If it's only 20% of 50%, you have to have a larger size CSA for this to work really well. Now, it doesn't mean it can't happen for smaller CSAs. people can start what's called an open group where anyone can join, not just your CSA members. That's kind of how you get around it, but it does change the dynamic. Okay, so in today's training, let's get to those 3 rules. How do you create that feeling of community and engagement and connection? And the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to share with you a mistake that I made, and then out of that, what was the rule or the lesson that I learned. That's kind of how I'm going to go at this. So let's start out with mistake number 1. I wasn't checking in the early days. All right, my involvement as the farmer was minimal, and I really relied on my community manager or my recipe consultant to do a lot of the work. I just didn't make it much of a priority. I didn't connect. And so here's the rule that kind of comes out of that I've learned the hard way. As you build or manage your group, you as the farmer must be willing to build relationships with people. If you can't commit to doing that, if you can't commit to being present and wanting to connect with people and actually try to form a relationship with them initially through social media, then it's not going to work. You have to be consistent about it. So I just want you to think about how relationships form. You meet someone and usually it's, you see them from afar, you make small talk at first, you might do an activity together, and that's how you begin to break down the walls and break down the ice. And then you start to disclose a little bit more, and you might share something a little vulnerable, and slowly the relationship builds and builds and builds. And in the process of all that, you're having conversations. Okay, so bottom line, people don't develop relationships unless they have meaningful conversations. And Facebook is a social platform. It is a place where people have conversations. Sometimes they're very short, sometimes they're very long, but it is a place where those conversations can begin. So if you want to move people into some kind of, through the stages of relationship developing, first of all, it takes time. And second of all, it means that you have to show up and actually contribute and talk to people. Now you can hire someone like I do to be a community manager and be primarily responsible for overseeing the group. But I really feel like you as the farmer need to be in there just as much, checking in, especially in that first year when you're forming the group. Because here's the thing, people join your farm not just to get your vegetables or your product. They're doing it because they want to get to know you. They want to support the farmer and connect with the farmer. If you dig down deep and you do customer research and you call people and you ask those deep questions, you will find that that is an unspoken expectation that many of them have. So if you can meet it, it goes a long way. So getting to know their name, having conversations with them, they want to connect with you. They want to be able to say, that's my farmer. So, and I want you to think too that at the beginning, you're a little bit of a celebrity. I know that's weird to think, but people look at you like, oh, that's the farmer. And the reason they come back to groups is to see if you said something, if you talked to them, what you think about stuff. They're living vicariously through you. So if you never show up in the group will never take off. And so I want you to just ask yourself, if you have one right now and you're not really engaged in the relationship building process, that may be what's happening. So great community managers in Facebook groups know 3 things. They know why people join, they know why people keep coming back, and they know why people leave. They have a really good understanding of that. So you've got to figure out ways to create that safety zone, that intimacy, so people feel free to disclose and start to get to know you and have conversations with one another. So remember, CSA members might initially sign up for your veggies, but they stay for the community and the relationship. Now, mistake number 2, we did not have a strategy or a plan for the group when we first began. There was really no goal for how we wanted to grow or be with our members. We posted things in there very willy-nilly. We had a weekly unboxing, but sometimes we didn't. I mean, it was very random. It was haphazard. It wasn't a very intentional schedule and strategy. And so the rule or the lesson that comes out of that I just am so passionate about now is you have to have a content plan to drive engagement. I feel like if you do, it makes all the difference. So I want you to just think about why do you keep coming back to Facebook groups that you're a part of? So just think about this one, for CSA marketing discussion. You're coming back to check in here. Why? Because if you can answer that, it's a very similar response for people who will join your Facebook group for your CSA. You're probably coming back to this group because there's a weekly injection of new material, of content that I give you, and sometimes you get a quick win from it and you apply it and it works, and that excites you and that adds value to you. Sometimes you come back here because there's a bigger and bigger tribe growing here of more and more voices and wisdom, other farmers who are in the same boat, who want to solve this problem of marketing just like you do, and you feel like you have affinity with them, okay? So there's a sense of community, and you're all in this together, and I can learn something and be inspired by these people. So to help you figure out, like as you think about your Facebook group, if you make one for your CSA, you need to ask yourself, what does success look like for my group? And the way that I answer this question, there's probably several ways I'd answer that question, but one of the big things that says this is a good Facebook group is when conversations start to happen between the members that are not necessarily initiated by the administrator of the group. When you can just go into a group and you see that there are a lot of people posting every day with different questions, and it's not like somebody who started the group had to, drive the discussion all the time. That's a mark of a good group, and that is sort of where I try to get my groups to be. So at the beginning, in order to get there, you've got to start by feeding the group with a content plan. And at the beginning, you're going to have to post a lot to start those conversations so that relationships form, so that people feel like they can safely post and share, and it gives them a reason to come back again and again. So Katie and I meet every April. We'll be doing that here in a few weeks. We go over our content plan for the season. We sit down, we look at a calendar, we look at a list of ideas that we've collected. We look at some of our notes from the past season. We look at the evaluations that come back from our customers about what they want to learn. And we take a look at that and we say, okay, we're going to figure out a video that we can do every week. We want to identify the topics that we need to make sure we cover and train, and when those need to happen, what makes the most sense for our target audience. We talk about ritual content, like what can we do again and again that happens every week. We think about contests, challenges to drive engagement and focus people and really teach something well. So we'll kind of brainstorm all of that and plot it into a general calendar. Because we have found that when we teach something, what happens is it causes people to, not all of them, but a lot of people will watch it, or at least watch some of it. It'll give them an idea, and then they'll engage and they'll ask questions, and it creates this pattern, this almost expectation of this is how we do community together. And they know that this is what it means to come into this group and interact and learn, and they begin to model that and follow our pattern. And then they begin to feel the benefits of being in the community. They start learning stuff, they start growing, that empowers them. They're like, wow, this is great. This is more than I expected this CSA thing to be. And suddenly they start talking about the CSA box, not just as vegetables, they start talking about it as if it is an experience. And that is where you want them to be. Now remember, CSA members initially might join for the vegetables, but they'll stay because of the community and the relationship. All right, so how are we doing? We're on to mistake number 3. I wasn't consistent in the early years. So I did not make my Facebook group a priority. This is a little bit like mistake number 1, but it's a slightly different angle. So I would come in 3 or 4 days would go by and I would just forget about the group. It wouldn't even be in my mind that I should go post something. Has that ever happened to you? Even for your business page, right? You get into the swing of running the farm and running around to pickup sites and packing, and you're like, oh crap, I haven't posted in 3 days. And then you're trying to figure out, what do I do? So that's what it was like. I just wasn't consistent. I didn't understand the value of checking in with my people. Not even just posting. It was I wasn't even going to check in to see what they were saying and talking about. So the rule, or the lesson that comes out of this, rule number 3, is that you need to be consistent and you need to make the group, the nurturing of the group and the checking into the relationship a priority. I want you to just think about, as a farmer, let's just imagine you're a vegetable farmer. I'm talking to vegetable farmers right now. What if you were, you have so much stuff. You got to grow stuff, you got to water, you got to weed, you got to harvest. So what if on any particular day, you're like, well, you're just not going to go check the transplants and see if they need to be watered. Like, you would never do that, right? Like, you just have that as a part of your discipline. I check the greenhouse to see if my plants need to be watered. That is in your ritual. That is a discipline. If you don't do that, you will lose your livelihood. Your stuff will die. And so if we start thinking about our relationships and with our customers as a discipline, as something we have to do, it becomes a priority, because if we don't, things die, okay? The relationships begin to falter. That really changes things. So I look at the nurturing now of my customers, the grooming of them, the talking to them, the connecting. I look at it as important as watering my transplants every day, or as making sure that I weed on a regular basis, okay? It's that important. Think about your best friend. If you just showed up and talked to them whenever you needed something from them, that would not be much of a relationship, right? Like, it's taking time to check in, nurture, and do the groundwork that's really important. And Facebook groups are a great platform that allow you to do that. It can be as simple as just hitting the like button for every comment, or going in and saying like 2 or 3 words when someone writes a comment. It shows that you're watching and you're connecting. And I make sure every day there's 30 minutes that I devote to that. Just like I make sure I go and water or weed, like Facebook group nurture is a part of my routine. And that was a very important lesson that I learned. All right. I don't think that our farm would be having the success that we are having if it weren't for Facebook groups. And what is it doing? What is it doing in the customer journey? Why is it working so well? And I want to pull up this customer value grid. I like to do this almost every training now. It's like my favorite. I know it's backwards. I apologize. I talk about this a lot. This is the customer value journey grid, and it basically describes the flow of a customer as he or she moves through your brand. And this works not just for farms, but for any industry. And the goal of any business is to try and move your customers from one end over here up to the promotion stage. So when they first meet you, they don't even know who you are. They're completely unaware of your existence. And then they become aware of you somehow, maybe through, Facebook, or someone talks to you about them, or see you at the market, or they watch a video on YouTube, whatever. And then they maybe start to engage with you, and then they might give you their contact information and so forth. And then there's this really key section in the middle called the excite phase. And I feel like that is the section that Facebook groups are nailing hard if they're done well. Because as soon as a customer converts and they buy your product, what needs to happen in the excite phase is they need to be taught how to use your product, how they need to feel their life is better because they're using your product. They need to see that. They need to experience transformation. And when they have that, that's what excites them. That's what says you did the right thing by buying this product. And guess what? When you successfully excite the customer, they move over to the ladder and they start going up and they buy it again, or they buy more things from your brand, and they eventually move to becoming an advocate and a promoter. Listen, this is where customer retention happens. And it doesn't happen if the excite phase is blocked, if you don't do something to excite your members. So this is why Facebook groups can be really powerful, because you can do things inside Facebook groups that excite the customer, that provide them with teaching, that give them a roadmap for how to use the box, that help them connect with other people, that give them a chance to experience quick wins and grow, so that suddenly they're like, wow, this is an experience, not just vegetables. So I believe that it's this consistent strategy of exciting the customer that we can do in our Facebook group that is driving people to the ascension ladder, driving them to customer retention. So remember, CSA members initially might join because they want your vegetables and they're excited about farm fresh vegetables, but they'll stay when you excite them, you grow them, and you build that community and relationship. All right, so those are my top 3 rules learned from experience for building a strong Facebook group for your farm. Let's review them. Number 1, focus on the relationship. If you can't commit to a relationship, don't bother, okay? Number 2, create a content plan. You have to have something intentional that drives people to come back, that's infusing new information into the group and teaching them and growing them. Number 3, you have to make your group a disciplined priority. It's got to be so important that it is in your calendar so you show people this relationship matters. I'm taking time. I'm committing to it. So if you have a group right now and it's not working, I want to just challenge you. Maybe it's not working because one of these 4 rules or 3 rules is being broken. All right, so at this point, I have a question for you. Would you like me to help you create a Facebook group for your farm that's going to engage your CSA customers and build brand loyalty and ultimately help you grow that customer retention piece? Are you interested in learning the blueprint that we use out here that guides our group and turns them into CSA masters? So if you are ready to add a Facebook group strategy, or if you want to kind of leverage the one that you have and make it better, I want to invite you to join me inside my paid course, Facebook Group Mastery, Blueprint to Building a Highly Engaged CSA Facebook Group. And I'm going to spend the rest of the time now kind of talking you through what that is. I would love it if you would stay. I have a special bonus that I'm going to share with you at the very end. It's only going to be around for a little while. So it's a little teaser. So in Facebook Group Mastery, this course is going to help you learn how to create and implement a Facebook group strategy for your CSA. It's very step-by-step. That's going to excite your members and it's going to grow them into a loyal tribe of customers so they want to come back again and again. Now, I offered this very same course last year around this time, but I did it as a 3-part video workshop series, and I'm not doing it that way this year. I had about 25 farmers from this group do that course with me, and I decided after feedback like that I was going to change it a little bit and turn it into an actual online course on an online platform so that you can go and watch it anytime you want. So I've retweaked the content, made it even better, pre-recorded all the sessions, and it's about 4.5 hours total of video content. So let me just share with you what's inside those modules. And if you want to look into it right now, you can go to mydigitalfarmer.com/Facebook course. You can pull that up right now and kind of stare at the offer as I go through it with you right now. So there are 3 modules. It's a total of 26 videos. Don't be scared though, they're not all long. There's most of them are like 3 or 4 minutes. Like I said, a total of about 4.5 hours. Module 1 is all about setting up your group and the pre-planning phase and the mechanics of it all. So in that section, I walk through how to actually set up a Facebook group if you don't know how to do that, the mechanics, the creation of community guidelines, why that's really important, and how to give you an example of what one looks like. You'll talk through privacy settings. Do I make it an open or a closed group? And a lot of that is dependent on your kind of your goals and objectives for the group, and also the size of your CSA. We talk through onboarding strategies to welcome your new members and get them to even go into the group, to want to be in the group. We talk about social density, what you need to know about social density, and strategies for seeding your group so that it's not a ghost town when you first start it. Engagement tricks to break the ice so people will actually start talking, and then what to do with people who aren't on Facebook, all right? Module 2 is all about the content strategy, planning your content strategy. So what the heck do you post? Do you ever ask that question? I'm going to share with you a list of what kinds of post styles there are so that you don't ever get locked and just can't think of anything. This is kind of where I think the gold mine of the training is, because I share with you my roadmap to CSA success. I actually show you what I learned from my CSA masters when I interviewed them and the scope and sequence of that teaching material that helps my rookies turn into masters a lot faster. So we're going to also talk about ritual content. So doing kind of theme posts, things that show up week after week, and using that to help you fill in your your content calendar. I'm going to give you a 30-day post planner tool, and that's going to really help you figure out your first 30 days of posts before you even launch the group. I'll teach you how to do challenges, how to use challenges to drive engagement. I also share my swipe file of all the different kinds of things that you could teach. It's a 4-page document. It's the thing that Katie and I look at every April when we're trying to figure out what should we talk about. And we go back to that as our primary document. And I also talk about curation and archiving strategies. So it's a shame to do like a video or to post something in your group and then have it disappear in the feed. And there are times and places when you want to scrape that and save it and post it somewhere else so that people can access it anytime. So we'll talk about how to do that and what that looks like. And finally, in this section of Module 2, we will discuss Facebook groups in the off season as well. What you do with them, there's kind of an important strategy there. Module 3 is all about the role of the community manager and what the community manager does. So what are the qualities of a good community manager? What are the primary duties? There are several roles that they fill, and you really need to make sure that you train your community manager to know all of them so that they do them. How do you set up your community manager for success so that they have everything they need to do their job well? I'll actually share some mistakes that we made early on. You're going to get a live interview with Katie, my community manager, as part of the course as well, where you can actually ask her questions. And I'll talk about what we pay her, what the job description looks like, just to really help you understand that role, because it's a really important one. Whether you become the community manager or you find a volunteer or you pay someone, this is going to be a really key part of the training. All right, so those are the basic 3 modules. They're ready to watch. Like right now, you can go to mydigitalfarmer.com/Facebook course and sign up right now, and you can binge watch the whole thing tonight if you want. But I have it all there so that you can break it up into small pieces and watch it at your own pace. So what are some of the other things that come with this? I didn't want to just dump a bunch of video training on you. I really want to help you get to the finish line and succeed. So last year when I offered this to my other farmer students, I gave them some other support materials that they found really valuable that kind of shortcutted this process and eliminated some of the confusion. So first of all, something new this year is that you have lifetime access to the course in this new platform. So you can go there and watch it in whatever pace you want. You don't have to wait for me to show up on a certain day to do a certain video module. But you also will get a 21-day Facebook group creation planner. So this is like a 3-page sheet that's like a checklist that walks you through step by step. Like, this is step 1, do this first, then this, then this. And that really has helped the team like assimilate all this information and know, okay, this is what I need to do first as I'm trying to get to my destination. I'm giving you my ultimate content creation swipe file. So this is that what the hell do I post file. I look at this cheat sheet all the time to try and just, help me remember the things that I could teach if I sort of draw a blank. This is a great brainstorm list that you can start with. You can add some things of your own. I think it's like 3 or 4 pages. It's pretty long. So you don't have to do all the work of thinking up ideas. And a lot of this has come from the results of my surveys of my customers. I'm giving you my email welcome sequence that you can just sort of plug and play and modify for your farm to help people get into your Facebook group. You also get access to another private Facebook group for students of this course. And so the students from last year are in there. They are ready to serve and help out. And anyone who joins this year will be in there as well. So that's lifetime access as well. And I'm going to show up for 4 live Q&A sessions in that group. The first one will be on March 18th. But I'm basically going to be there to kind of do consulting and coaching for anyone who asks questions. I'll answer those questions as long as I need to help kind of customize this for you so you can make sense of it as you go through the course. And then the last thing is my live interview with my Facebook group's community manager, Katie. Okay, so you're going to have your guns fully loaded by the time I am done with you. This course will give you everything that you need to really step by step make your own group, feel confident about what you're going to post so that before you even launch, you have a game plan and you just have to execute it when you start. Now, other community management courses like this that are out in the market, they're priced for around $250. But in fact, I took one of them, but they are not tailored for CSA farmers. And I know that you're farmers and we don't make oodles and oodles of money. So I also know how good this content is. And I did not want to give this away for free because I have learned that if you are going to put money behind something, you have skin in the game and you are much more likely to be all in and do it right. And those are the kinds of people that I want in this course. I want people who are doers, who are going to be all in and give this their best, because that's what it takes to build and run a great Facebook group. I'll just be honest. So I also know that if you do this right and you're committed, it's going to save you a lot of time later. It's going to help immensely with customer retention. You have to trust me on that. You're going to learn so much about your ideal customer avatar in your groups, and it's going to help you serve them and grow them better. So normally this course is priced in the off season at $135, but for this week, starting today and through Saturday, I'm pricing it at $99. All right. So I wanted to share with you kind of a testimonial from one of the farmers who took it last year. Her name is Carly Miller-Hormick. And she is was the CSA manager at Main Street Farms. And this is what she wrote. She posted this in our private group for the course students. I think it was in like June of last year after she'd implemented this for her group. And she said this: I have to admit, I was skeptical about the whole Facebook group thing when Corinna started talking about it. I did not think our members would ever engage in the way hers did. But I decided I was going to commit to making the group happen this year and do our best to educate members. I thought I was going to have to do a ton of work to get people to engage, but to my shock, people began posting like crazy in week 1. I couldn't believe it was our page. I thought, I must be on Corinna's page. This can't be our members. People are posting pictures of their kids, their bunnies, everybody eating vegetables. We're getting incredible engagement and great ideas for recipes. I am fully blown away and a believer in Facebook's ability to increase our retention. So that's right from the horse's mouth from one of our own who's in this group. Now, I also know that if I were in your shoes, the best way that what I would want most to really get to the finish line faster and figure this whole thing out would be to actually see a Facebook group, a CSA Facebook group in action. And so that's why I decided, you know what, that's what my students really need in order to learn this quickly. So as a bonus, I am offering free access to my private Facebook group as part of this offer through October of this year. So once you enroll, you'll get a special email from me. You'll be invited into that group. I'll let you in, and you'll just have a backseat view of how we run our Facebook group. Kind of right now in the off season, what we're doing to drive engagement, but also in the heavy season when things are really going crazy. And so I just want you to imagine if you were able to just pop in there and get quickly ideas for what you could post, how you could drive engagement, peek behind the curtain of how it's done well, what are we teaching, how are we asking questions. You'll be able to watch us live and just see how we trigger people to be a community and learn those strategies firsthand. You can even copy the things that we're doing. I mean, a lot of our students last year did that. Okay, so all of this for the price of just $99. To enroll, you can go to mydigitalfarmer.com/Facebook course. All right, Facebook course. All right, listen, I am not special. I had no idea what I was doing 3 years ago. I was a very different marketer and farmer back then. I learned all this marketing stuff from scratch. I took a few digital marketing courses, a lot of trial and error, and I figured out a framework that's really working for us. And so I know that if I can do this, so can you. So don't think, oh, Corinna's special. Look, I figured it out and I didn't know any of this stuff 3 years ago. Now, before I let you go, because I am coming to the end, I do want to just be really clear about who I think this course is ideal for and who it's really not ideal for. First of all, I really built the course for CSA vegetable farmers. So if you're a CSA farmer for like a meat CSA, you would still find value in like the general, like how do you build a group, how do you drive engagement? But module 2, where I'm really teaching the roadmap to CSA success and what I taught them, that's really focused on vegetable CSA. So I want to be really clear about that. Now, I also think it's perfect for farmers who have a larger CSA membership community, like something over 100, I think is probably ideal. If you're smaller than that, you're going to have a harder time building that social density. Doesn't mean you can't come and learn this stuff and try to apply it for an open group, but it won't be the same experience. So I also want to be very upfront about that. It's really perfect for CSAs that are a little bit larger. If you have a Facebook group right now that's really ho-hum, I think this is also a good class for you as well, because you're probably going to learn a lot of things that you might not be doing, that you could be doing that would help. And then I'm not looking for tire kickers. I'm looking for people who want to invest in themselves and do the work and be committed to something. All the students that are in my group right now from last year, I mean, those were the kinds of students that I have, and that's a really unique community. So if this is something you want to get behind and try, that's what's going to take success for you, is if you have that sort of attitude. So if CSA is a high priority for you in your business, and where you really want to be building this community and adding that value to your customers, this is going to be a good course for you. Okay, so I mentioned a very special bonus gift that I would offer to people at the very beginning of this training. And this particular bonus is only available until tomorrow night at midnight. So if you join the course before midnight Sunday, you will get free access into the Membership Academy, my online Membership Academy. This is my online library of video tutorials, veggie ebooks, cheat sheets, the mini course for my rookies. Any content that I ever made in the last 2 years to try and grow my members, I archived it all and I put it into one spot in the membership library. And this, I charge money for this. It's $10 a month for people or $85 a year. And you are getting this access to this through October of this season as part of the course for the $99. It's just getting bundled in. I really feel like that's a great place if you're trying to build your content plan and you want some ideas for what can I teach them and how would I outline that teaching, or if I want to make a cheat sheet of the formula for a perfect pesto, what should it look like? And you can go and download mine and then make one that looks almost exactly like it, make it look better in Canva, and then give that away, and you'll have access to it all. And I think that's going to make your life so much easier when you're trying to figure out, how do I do this? You're not going to waste as much time coming up with what to even type on the page, all right? So all of that extra bonus is free if you order before Sunday night, okay? So entire package, you can get it at mydigitalfarmer.com/Facebook course. And if for some reason you don't like the course, you get in there, you watch it, you're like, this is not what I thought it was going to be, or this is way too hard, or this is not well done, confusing, I'm not getting any value whatsoever, I will give you a refund, 100% refund. This is a 30-day money back guarantee. So you can get in there, see what it's like, see if you like. If you don't, just ask me and I'll give you your money back. Okay. So that is how confident I am that if you're a good match, you are going to get through this material and you are going to have an amazing Facebook group experience as a result of it. Okay. Head to mydigitalfarmer.com/Facebook course. I'm going to run through the whole offer one last time, then I promise I'm done. Okay. So if you feel like you've gotten what you needed to get out of this, you can leave. That's all good. But I'm just going to summarize it one last time. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them right now. My husband is over here standing by to let me know if there are any. So once again, the Facebook Group Mastery course comes with 24 lessons, so 3 video modules. That's about 5 hours of teaching with a step-by-step roadmap for setting up and running and implementing your Facebook group for your CSA. You get lifetime access. You can access on any device. You'll get the 21-day Facebook group creation planner. You will get the ultimate content creation guide, that PDF sort of cheat sheet of all the different kinds of things that you could post, different things you could teach in your group. You're going to get my welcome email sequence, sort of my template. You're going to get lifetime access to my private Facebook group for the students of this course. There are going to be 4 live Q&A sessions, so you'll get some private coaching through that to help you develop your own group. There's a live interview with my Facebook group's community manager, Katie Jardin, as part of the course. That will be happening in early April. You get access to my CSA's private Facebook group, so you can see how we run it and get ideas. And if you order before Sunday night, you also get access to the SL Farms Membership Academy, which is a $60 value for free. All right. So go to mydigitalfarmer.com/Facebook course. And I really hope to see some of you guys on the other side. And if not, I hope you learned something today. It is always my goal when I go into these trainings that people will walk away with 1 or 2 small gems that they can add to their strategy, their marketing strategy, and their branding to help them get better at marketing. So I hope that was the case for you. Are there any questions? I don't see any. Jenny is here, but I don't see any questions coming through. I know there will be people watching this as a replay, so feel free to ask your questions there as well. I'll be checking the feed later to see if there are other questions. All right, mydigitalfarmer.com/Facebook course. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk soon. Bye.